Hey everybody, it's Smooth Virus, call sign Virus. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you may recall that at one time I had two mini Talons instead of the one mini Talon that I have now. And this is my old one, and I lost it on a long-range mission somewhere out over the woods. It went down out in the middle of nowhere in the trees, and I never found it, and I never saw it again. So after that, I decided that I needed to have some kind of insurance policy, so if I had a plane go down where I couldn't find it, I could be able to track it. And some people have got the Marco Polo tracker, and I've seen that work, but the system is expensive and the little chips that come with it are kind of fragile. So when I found out about the tBeacon system over on RC Groups, that seemed like a much more reasonable solution at a much better price point. And eventually, yeah, I got one. So in this video, we're gonna set up my tBeacon, and we're going to set it up to work with both Eagletree Vector and the Pitlab autopilot and OSD, since I have planes that are running both of those systems. So sit back, relax, and let's learn about setting up tBeacon.
Okay, so when you order your tBeacon Amber from the tBeacon website, if you are in the United States, I guess in about 3 weeks or so, you're going to get this in the mail from Chelyabinsk in Russia, which is where the big meteor came down a few years ago. But anyway, and you get some cool Russian stamps. But basically, you get this. So I've already opened it, so here's what's inside this. I'll move this over a little bit. You get a couple cables for connecting the tBeacon, and since I'm learning along with you guys what this does, I'm gonna have to figure that out. But you get two of them. So this is for attaching to the tBeacon, and you will get a little battery, which is shipped in its own bag. And I guess for some kind of shipping reasons, it's not installed on the unit. Try and get it out of the glare there. There you go. So you get that. You get some stickers. If you want to put that on your plane, get some stickers. We'll set that aside. You also get a piece of shrink tubing. So this will be to put the board inside when you've put the battery on there. So we'll do that later. I'll set this aside. And you get the tBeacon Amber. See if we can get this to focus. Yeah. There you go. Oh, I've got it upside down. So I think this is the buzzer. I believe that's the LED. And the battery goes here. This is the underside. Now I'm going to be learning this along with you guys on how all of this works. But we will be, the first step is to solder the battery to these two pads right here. And that's what we're going to do next. So let's get the soldering iron out and install the battery. So we've got the tBeacon Amber set with our helping hands here. We've got our Heiko soldering iron, and I got the fine tip on it. Try and get that to focus there. There you go. That's all heated up. And we have some old school Radio Shack. We miss you, Radio Shack. Solder here. So I've got the ground wire, the black wire from the battery, going to the outermost pad there, which is where that's supposed to go. Actually, took a picture of it with my phone. Yeah, so you can see there, that's where we're going, to the little solder pad on the right. We have to make sure that we get this right or we'll burn it up. So a little intimidating, but we're gonna give it a try here. So let's get to soldering. We got it. I think it's soldered in there. Okay. Pull the tape off the positive end here. I'm going to have to cut this off with a hobby knife. I think we're ready for the positive side now. So just very carefully put this on here. A little more, I think. There we go. There we go. That should do it. Let's see if we can zoom in. Try and move it a little bit. Yeah, it's about as close as we can get. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead and take it off. Let me zoom out before I do all this. Okay. Alright. I think it's on there. So then we can just take it like that. Right. Push those wires down, and we just need to put the heat shrink over it. So let's just gonna put this shrink tubing over the tBeacon here. It's kind of hard to get this on camera. There we go. There we go. Okay. And we don't want to cover the switch. Try and center this battery up. That ought to do it. That ought to do it. And then I can just trim this off. Trim off the excess with the hobby knife. So, our heat gun should be down here somewhere. No, it's here. Oh, there it is. Let's just use this. To hold it. that ought to do that. So let's just take that off. Get our hobby knife, and I'll just actually a pair of scissors might even be better. Careful that I don't cut the board there. These are some pretty heavy duty scissors. And then we can just get the rest of it here. Perfect. Okay. Looks good to me. Alright. So the next step is going to be hooking these cables up. And then I have, well, I guess it's going to be 3 or 4 planes that I can attach this to. Some of them are going to have the Vector, Eagletree Vector on it, and some of them are going to have the Pitlab on it. So I'm told that I can connect directly from this port on the tBeacon Amber to the UART port on the Vector right here. So I need to figure that out. So I guess I'm going to need to make a cable for that. But we will find out, and you will find out along with me. So for now, looks like we're ready for the next step. Okay, so now I know how to hook the tBeacon up to either one of these. So this is a Vector OSD and autopilot, familiar to many of you, and this is a Pitlab OSD and autopilot. Not as popular as the Vector, but this is my current favorite for flying long distance FPV. Anyway, what you have to do once you've got your tBeacon set up with the battery and working is you have to make an interface cable for, well, for either one of these units. Now in my case I have 3 Vectors and I have 3 Pitlabs, so I need one of each of these. Now this is the cable I made to interface with the Vector, and the way it works is this end plugs into the UART port. It's on this side. This is it. It plugs into the UART port on the Vector right there, just like that, and this end goes to this part of the tBeacon. It plugs in just like that. So once you power the Vector up, it's going to provide power to the tBeacon, which will charge the battery, and also it's going to feed GPS data to the tBeacon as well. Now, to get the Vector to interface with the tBeacon, there is one thing that you're going to have to set in the on-screen menu for your Vector. So first, you're going to need to power the Vector up and then flip your mode switch twice to get to the menu, and then scroll down to Eagle Eyes and Telemetry. Now once you get there, you go down to the last selection,
which is configure the UART port. Now, by default, that is set to Tyrannus, but we want it set for open telemetry. Once it's set for open telemetry, the Vector will send GPS data to the tBeacon and it will work fine. So once you've got that set, you can just blip the throttle for a second and it'll exit the on-screen menu. And you should be all set.
Okay, once you've configured that in the Vector OSD, now keep in mind it doesn't work. You can't set that parameter from a PC. You have to go into the OSD menu on the Vector to set that. Now with the Pitlab, you don't have to set anything. All you have to do is plug this in to the Pitlab. So the question is, where do you plug the tBeacon into your Pitlab? Well, there's two ports here. Now this port, let's get a pointer. This port, this is the GPS port. Now the Pitlab developers recommend that this particular port only be used for the GPS antenna that comes with the FPV kit for Pitlab. However, there's another port underneath which has the same functionality. This is the one that you need to plug your cable into for the tBeacon. Now these are actually the same as a 3S balance port. So what you can do, and what I did, is you can go on, I went to Amazon, you can get a whole pack of these plugs with the cable, with the wire leads on it. Now these aren't, the colors on here are incorrect, so I did have to depin these. I did have to depin it and reorder these three, but you only need 3 of the wires. This is the ground, now that's the correct one, and then this on here, it's yellow, but you're gonna have to move that. Move the red wire to this. That's your power, 5 volts of power, and then this, it should be yellow, so I would take this blue wire and I actually just discard it, and I move the yellow wire over here. This is the signal that carries your GPS data. And what you have to do is these 4 nylon bolts, you just remove those. This comes right off the top, and you plug your cable into there. And I've already done that with both of the Pitlab units that I'm already using. Now the question is, you have to get the other one, the other side. I got these off of Hobby King. Now I ordered some from Banggood. They haven't showed up yet. So Hobby King has these in their US warehouse, and they got here in a couple of days. Alright, so these, to connect to the tBeacon, are the JST-SH 5-pin male plugs. And that goes right to the plug on the tBeacon. Just like that. So you take these leads, and you only need 3, and you solder them to the 3 leads here that you're going to have on this plug, or in the case of the Vector, just get a spare GPS cable from Eagletree and you plug it into the corresponding wires on that. So I'll put a link to where you can order these, from where you can order the JST-SH plugs from Hobby King, and also these connectors, and I think I got these from Amazon, but you can get these probably almost anywhere. And next we're gonna go out to the field and we're gonna hook this all up, and I'll show you how all of it works. Okay, so we're out here at the field and we've got our tBeacon configured and ready to go. and I've got my interface cable installed in the Pitlab in my mini Talon. And what we'll do here is we're gonna simulate the mini Talon going down, and we have to activate the tBeacon with our handheld radio and get GPS coordinates so we can find it in case there's an emergency. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the tBeacon in the plane, where it's a little drier. We tried it on the grass, but it wasn't good. So I've got my little cable here. I think that's the right way. Yep, got it on the first try. Alright. And what'll happen is the Pitlab will provide power and GPS coordinates to the tBeacon when we power up. Alright, power up the plane. Alright, you can see a little light on the tBeacon. It's getting power and it's getting data from the Pitlab. Okay, we got a GPS lock, the GPS antenna on the Pitlab. So to simulate a crash, we'll go ahead and disconnect the main battery. Okay, the power's off. Okay, so now we'll take our handheld radio. The default frequency for the tBeacon is 433.075 megahertz. Let's go ahead and activate it. KC3, KII. We send a 5-second tone to activate the chip. Sending out 3 tones at different power levels to let you know how close you are. So those are the correct GPS coordinates. So if the plane had gone down in the woods somewhere, and it'll keep going off, it'll tone out SOS in Morse code and activate a strobe on the chip. And we can take those GPS coordinates put that in on a phone or a laptop, and take us straight to it.
Alright, so there you have it. We have tBeacon working with Eagletree Vector, and we also have it working with Pitlab. And all we have to do is create an interface cable, and it interfaces directly with either one of those autopilots. Great stuff. So here's the tBeacon website, tbeacon.org. You can go here, you can order a tBeacon Amber. It'll ship to you from Russia. It takes about 3 weeks. It took about 3 weeks for it to get to me on the East Coast of the United States. And it's $59.99 US, including shipping. So that's not too bad. And once you get that, then you will need a 70 centimeter handheld transceiver to activate it. You can get this BaoFeng UV5R from Amazon. It's $24.14. Yeah, that's cheap. So you're looking at what, about $84 to put the whole system together and have everything you need. And compare that to the Marco Polo. Marco Polo lists for $234.95. So that's less than half of what it would cost to get the Marco Polo. So yeah, if you're looking for a cheaper way to be able to track a lost model, I think the tBeacon Amber and a cheap ham radio is the way to go. Now, do keep in mind, in order to legally operate a handheld transceiver like this, an amateur radio band, you will need to go to the ARRL, take your ham radio test, but it's not hard. This is a whole hobby into itself. It's a great hobby to get into, and passing the technician class license is not hard. So I'll throw a link up. If you need to go get your ham radio license to operate the radio, I go out and do it. And you know, there's another hobby that you can get into, and that's just, ham radio is a whole world into itself. Not something we're going to cover here, but yeah, I'm very happy with this, and I feel a lot more confident about not losing any more planes. You know, if it crashes, it may be damaged, but at least you'll get it back. So great stuff. And yeah, I may do some more videos. I may do some range tests. I haven't tried that yet. I did see on the RC Groups thread that some people were able to activate their tBeacon Amber from up to 4 miles away. I don't know if that'll work in this area because we have a lot of hills and trees and houses, but it might be worth a shot. It'd be a fun experiment. So if you're interested in seeing something like that, just let me know in the comments, and yeah, we might try that out. So thanks for sticking with me all the way to the end here. This has been one of the longest videos I ever put together, and yeah, keep them flying and keep flying safe. And yeah, if you are interested in long range flying, or just, you know, you're flying over some rough terrain, you don't even have to be long range, and you want to be able to find that model, I think tBeacon Amber is a very, very wise purchase to prevent loss of a model like what I went through back in 2017. All right, everybody, you guys have a super fine one, and we'll see you soon. Smooth Virus out. All right, so let's go ahead and put the tBeacon in the plane. So what we got here, hold on, I'm gonna retake that because the ground's all wet. I just sank my knee into the mud. Move it over here on the pavement.
All right.